Thinking back to when I just started photography, I took all kinds of interesting pictures, and I learned pretty much everything I know from watching videos and reading articles online. The benefits of this is that it's free to learn, but as a beginner, biases and bad habits tend to develop, which can limit your progress. That's why I created this video, to share some of the things I wish I knew when I started on my photography journey. When I started photography, I used to think that you needed the best camera to capture the best pictures. Well, that's partially true, that's just a small part of the bigger picture. As long as your camera allows for full manual control, it's good enough to learn with. The only piece of gear that really matters is the tripod, lens, filters, and lighting equipment. For the tripod, it needs to be compact enough so you'll be willing to carry it with you most of the time, and sturdy enough for your camera setup. Lenses need to cover the focal length which you want to shoot with. If you're a beginner, just shoot with the kit lens, then you can build up a better idea of what you like in a lens. At the beginner stage, the only filter you'll need is a polarizer to cut reflections, so you can pull out rich colors. For lighting equipment, you might not need anything at all, like if you're shooting landscape photography. Generally, you'd want to capture a large environment under natural conditions. But for many areas like weddings, portraits, or product photography, an external flash will be extremely useful. Things like a 5-in-1 reflector are probably the most cost-effective tool you can use to control light. I definitely recommend one, there's so much you can do with them. One more thing about gear. Pro or professional equipment are definitely good, but only in the hands of an experienced photographer. As a beginner, owning high-end pro lenses or cameras will just make you feel like a pro, but you won't have the skills to make good use out of it. Eventually, as you learn and gain experience, you'll know when you're ready for an upgrade. Whenever you're taking a picture, some level of understanding on light is fundamental. As a beginner, you might not realize how important light is in an image. This was something which held back my progress at the early stages. For instance, we probably know that images around sunset look good because of natural light, but you can't limit yourself to only take pictures when the natural light is ideal. And in those situations when the natural light is not good, you need to understand what needs to be done to capture the best image at the present moment. For example, if you're trying to take a portrait at midday when the sun is directly above, the hard light from the sun will make too much contrast on the face. To improve this, we can use a 5-in-1 reflector to diffuse the light, or reflect some of the light to fill in the shadows. Now, taking a look at these images, using our knowledge on how we can modify the light, we have a much better looking image. If we were lazy and we try to fix for the lighting afterwards by editing, we'll never get really great results. Trying to edit a picture with poor lighting, we'll quickly realize the problems that we face. Clipped highlights, too much contrast. We can fix these to some degree, but the best option is to capture a good image in camera. I was guilty of doing this a lot. I'd be so excited to see what I could do in Lightroom to make a seemingly poor image look great. Sometimes it works and I manage to edit a good looking image, but most of the time I just spend loads of time tweaking adjustments I didn't really understand to get a mediocre image. So in the long run, trying to fix an image afterwards was not a good option. To fix this, just learn about the light you're dealing with for the types of pictures that you want to take, and take a moment to think how you can organize everything to capture the best image in camera. I remember when I was a beginner, I got the impression that manual settings were essential to capture a great image. That is true in many cases, but it assumes these two things. You fully understand each parameter that you're manually controlling, and that you've got the time to put in the settings before the moment is gone. If you can't meet both of these requirements, shooting in auto might be the best option, so that you can quickly capture a moment without considering camera settings. Or you can maintain some control using aperture or shutter priority along with manual ISO for a blend of manual and auto control. This is the way I like to shoot when I'm exploring somewhere and I don't want the photography to slow me down. With any creative piece of work, often the great ones tell a great story, or there's some story behind them. This is not always necessary. Sometimes you just want to appreciate the beauty of something, but the process of thinking about what you are trying to show in your image and thinking about how you can use your photography skills to show this effectively will provide guidance, leading you to create meaningful pictures rather than random moments. And the final piece of advice is just to shoot more. Memory cards' capacity get cheaper with time, computers get faster, so dealing with more pictures is less of an issue. Having many pictures and analysing them to see which work well and identifying what areas can be improved is a fast way to improve your photography skills, as you're working with actual data, your images, rather than theoretically thinking about actually doing it.